I know when I hand them the keys to their first car, it's going to be scary. But I also know that we're going to have USAA insurance for both my boys. And it's something that they're not even going to have to think of. It's just going to be in the family.
Holy hump day horse shit. Wow. Welcome to the Stoop radio program, another big Wednesday night hump day episode of Philadelphia's favorite radio station. Jeff the Shark Perini here. Oh, yeah, there's the whoop. I wait for it. I try to delay and wait for it, but there it is. Jeff the Shark Perini, your host. With me, as always, the amazing, the beautiful, one of the greatest co-hosts any entertainer could ask for, the amazing Jewel Tatey. Jewel, good evening.
Good evening, Jeff. I can't knock the smile off my face. I'm so excited for tonight.
You got to see the smile. She's dancing. She's smiling. She's radiant. You know, you would almost think she just got laid. That's how excited she looks right now.
Oh, Jesus. Too much.
Gotta get her right off.
Too much.
Gotta get her right off jump. Gotta get her right off jump street. Gotta get Jewel broken in. She breaks in when I bust on her. Tonight is a massive show, and this is one that Jewel has waited for. Jewel's a massive fan. A lot of her family members are massive fans. I'm a massive fan. People all over are a massive fan. Comedy, acting, music, writing, radio. This guy's got it all. And apparently the chicks dig this guy too. Hal Sparks is our guest tonight. Yes. Absolutely so excited. You remember Hal from Queer as Folk. You remember him from the I Love the 80s and I Love the 70s and I Love the 90s on VH1. Comedy routines, talk soup. I can go on. So much stuff, but we're going to go on later on, and Jewel's going to go on because she is a massive Hal fan, and we got tons of stuff to talk to him about, and we're hoping this baby goes on and on. If he is half as fun to interview as he is to listen to and watch, it's going to be an awesome one. Jewel, tell us, how you feeling?
Hashtag Hal Sparks Takeover. I'm so excited. Yeah, I've been a huge fan of his since high school, and I'm just so happy he's on here. It's going to be really fun, and I just can't wait to hear what he has to say. He's coming to Philly in about 2 weeks, and me and Jeff are dying to go. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really, really excited.
If you're listening and you're tuning in and you're a regular listener or you're a friend of myself or Jules and you want to get some entertainment value, Hank, well, I'm just calling him Hank. Hal's going to be on around 8:30. And I am, within that interview, I'm going to beg. I'm going to be a whore. I'm going to be a flat-out Stoop slut and beg him for tickets to his comedy show. Helium Nightclub, December 7th, 8th, and 9th. We'll get to that later on. I'm going to beg like a little puppy dog for Hal Sparks tickets. You get to hear it. You get to hear me make a complete ass out of myself, which is why we do this, Stoop. Am I right?
We'll buy the tickets. Just get us backstage because we would love to meet him. So that would be enough for us.
Take it easy, Joel. First you ask for the free stuff, and if you can't get it, then you buy the tickets. Then you ask for a little VIP session with my man, Hal Sparks. It's going to be great. Always like this guy. Cracks me up.
Yes.
Very funny. Awesome. The Stoop gets the guest, folks. We're getting the guest. And it's Guy Week.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Guy Week. So we got to thank, speaking of Guy Week, we have to thank Monday's guest. Awesome guy. Great, regular, down-to-earth guy. Almost as good-looking as me. Josh Server was on the show. And 90s Kids, you remember Josh? He was on All That and a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. And he just had so much to say. Great interview. Gave us Philly Eagles a lot of props, too. Josh,
yes, he did.
Kind of like right at home. It's kind of like he was sitting in the studio with us just chilling out. He was that much fun, and we're hoping to get that kind of fun tonight. Like we do every night. We're here. We're live. Jewel looks a little snazzy tonight. She got a little, got a little scarf going on there and a little button plaid shirt, it looks like. Looking good, Jewel. I got my Guns N' Roses t-shirt. Yeah, there's a
As
party.
Always.
Matter of fact, there is a party tonight, and we want to, of course, from the Stoop, wish a very happy birthday to the amazing man responsible for our amazing Jewel Tatey. It's a very happy birthday to Jewel's dad. Jewel, let's do a little shout out.
Yes. Happy birthday, Dad. He's the best dad. Like I said, I love my dad so much. He's my best friend, and he's such a great grandfather. All the kids call him Pappy. He's Captain Pappy Jack. Happy birthday, Captain Pappy Jack. We love you.
Happy birthday, Captain Happy Jack? Pappy Jack.
Pappy Jack. Yep.
Pappy Jack. Happy birthday, Captain Pappy Jack, and thank you on your birthday for allowing me to steal your wonderful daughter for a couple hours. You couldn't quite beat out Hal Sparks, Dad. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah. You're making all these crazy jokes on my dad's birthday special episode.
Yeah, I did come out and say that little second innuendo joke. My apologies to the entire Tatey family. I'm pretty sure that any family reunion won't include me. I've learned that now. Sorry, folks. Happy birthday, Jack. Jack?
Thank you. Yes.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jack. And happy birthday to anybody out there celebrating a birthday. Top 5 list time. We always do it here if you're new to the show. We do a top 5. We pick a different topic for every episode. We give our 5, our personal favorites, our personal least favorites, whatever the hell it is. And Jewel came up with the topic tonight. It's kind of Hal Sparks-esque. We like to base it on the guest. Since Hal is such a vast knowledge of trivial things and 80s and 70s and nostalgia and all that, we did top 5 cult classic movies. 5 that are considered cult classic. There's that party going on, and that's great. And people are just living up.
Sorry.
Jack's
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's great. Jack's having a hell of a birthday. We love it. It's absolutely great. It's great to hear. Top 5 cult classic movies. Jewel, this is your baby. I'm going to let you kick it off. I'm going to let you give us your top 5 cult classic movies.
Whew. Okay. This was kind of easy, and cult classics could be, a variety of different things, but the definition I looked up was movies that had a certain following. You quote them, you might go back to the theater 20 years later to see them, and they're basically from your childhood or growing up, and your favorite movies of all time that have that certain following. So with that said, number 5 is Lost Boys. Lost Boys was probably, one of the first horror movies I saw being a 90s kid. And every time it's on still, you have to quote it. You have to sit and watch the whole thing. And it will always be a classic. Yeah, what else can you say?
You can say Jamie Gertz. Yeah.
Who's that?
Jamie Gertz. Come on, Lost Boys. Jamie Gertz.
Star, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's beautiful. Yeah. Michael. Yeah, okay. Number 4, Labyrinth. I grew up with Labyrinth. It's one of my all-time favorite. David Bowie is the Goblin King. I have home movies of me dancing with my baby doll, like throwing it up in the air like Toby, singing all the songs. And it's like when you meet another person who loves Labyrinth, because my boyfriend hates Labyrinth because, his sister watched it her whole life growing up. So he makes fun of me every time I watch it. But it was just cool because I got to sit down with my daughter and watch it, and she loved it. So it's just one of those movies you could pass on. There's Muppets, there's scary things, and it's all good. They steal a baby, but it works out in the end. I love Labyrinth. Number 3, my man, Pee-wee with Pee-wee.
Yeah.
I love all the Pee-wee movies. I love the circus. What was that called? Big Top Pee-wee. I did, like I said before, I had full-string Pee-wee dolls, and I was obsessed with them as a little kid, and I still have to watch a movie anytime it's on. There's so many great scenes and quotes and Large Marge and big butts and just the whole movie, and it's one of those movies you just remember sitting down with your family and watching too. So still a classic, one of my favorites. All right. And number 2, I can't talk tonight. The Big Lebowski. Jeff, have you seen it yet?
Still have not seen it. I'm going live on air and telling everybody I've not seen it yet. I know.
so good. It just makes you want to drink a White Russian and go bowling. The dude is a man. The dude abides. That whole movie is just hilarious. John Goodman, Steve Buscemi. You have to watch it. It's such a good movie. All-time favorite. And number one, I consider this a cult classic in my eyes because, one, it's one of my favorite movies, and it has so many great quotes, and, like, everyone I meet who loves this movie can quote it, and I know it's going to be, like, it's a newer movie, but I think it's going to be a classic going down the line. But it's Grindhouse's Death Proof. Quentin Tarantino, Grindhouse, the first movie, Death Proof. I love all the scenes. I love Kurt Russell as the freaking crazy serial killer, stuntman Mike, and it has great music. The soundtrack's awesome. I can quote that movie front to back, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. I have the poster and everything on my wall, and yeah, it's probably my favorite Tarantino movie too. So, my top 5.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Kind of outside of the realm of what I expected. Pee Wee Herman, for all you who missed Monday's show, was one of Jules' top 5 crushes growing up. I still don't get it. I don't think Pee Wee Herman gets it. I think if he might have heard, he'd be like, "What, me?" But yeah, it's a pretty good list. Grindhouse. That was a shocker. My top 5, I cheated a little bit. I went down many different lists of 100 greatest cult classics as people have voted, and I started looking at some of the movies. And said, okay, I can buy that one, and I've seen that one, whatever. So my top 5 starts at number 5, and what is better than seeing a young, sexy Jane Fonda naked than digging the movie Barbarella? This was probably the worst, best movie ever. It was so bad.
Yes.
But, and I know the old war veterans are getting on my case here about being such a Jane Fonda fan. I loved Jane Fonda. I think she was just, And she got naked in this movie, so why not? Let's watch it. I didn't give a rat's ass what it was about. Probably couldn't tell you half of what it was about. I really didn't care. But that's number 5. That's number 5 cult classic. Here's a movie I loved, number 4, and I didn't realize it was a cult classic until I started seeing all these lists. And a goodie, and I saw it in the movie theater way back when, 1941, with John Belushi. That's at the height of the Saturday Night Live days with Belushi and Aykroyd and all that gang. 1941 certainly was a pretty good movie. I liked it. It was funny. It had its weird moments. Belushi was always good. Always enjoyed watching him, so that got on my list as well. Number 3, De Niro, Taxi Driver. That's when De Niro was a little younger, a little more out there. Looked like a badass. It was such a great movie, man. Scary, really. And a different kind of scary. Not like, frightening, but just like a weird, crazy-ass guy kind of scary. Psycho Scary is a good way of putting it. Yeah, awesome. Taxi Driver, number 3. Number 2, a movie I liked. I even thought it was a cult classic before I went on these lists. And it's a movie I enjoyed as a younger guy because I love the actor, Harrison Ford, and it's Blade Runner. Blade Runner was so unique for its time, so different, set out in the future. It was confusing. You had to see it a couple times to get the gist of it. Very cool movie. They actually did a remake, not a remake, a sequel, if you will, with who's that blonde-haired hot guy? All the chicks like. Give me his name. His name slipped my mind.
Is it Chris Pine? Is that right?
I can't believe I forgot.
Ryan Gosling.
That's it, Ryan. Wow. That's embarrassing. It's old age.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
That's embarrassing. That's what happens when you get old. You forget. But another Blade Runner coming out. Blade Runner. And number 1, I didn't even know this was a cult classic. And when everybody started voting it a big cult classic, I'm like, you know what? That's my goddamn number 1. One of the greatest movies ever. The Princess Bride. Yeah, let's go. The Princess Bride. Joe, I don't know what you were going for, but The Princess Bride. If that's a cult classic, then I am the king of cult classics. Great movie. It had so many stars in it. Carrie Elways was in it. Of course, he was great. And Andre the Giant was in it. Billy Crystal and Christopher Guest. And God, there were so many great people in it. And just an awesome movie. Hilarious. That's one that I quote from top to bottom. I love that friggin' movie. Mandy Patinkin. Awesome. Princess Bride. That is my number 1 cult classic movie. Great job by both of us tonight. I got to say, some great list. We'll go back down, Jules. Number 5, a movie I absolutely love. Might have been 6th on my list. Lost Boys. That's a terrific one. Number 4, Labyrinth with the late, great David Bowie. Wow, I'm really forgetting names tonight. David Bowie. Number 3, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Who didn't love Pee-wee Herman back then, and the Tequila Dance and great stuff there. Number 2, The Big Lebowski. That's one of many people's favorites. And number 1, a little bit of surprise there, Grindhouse, the first Grindhouse. Yeah, that was surprising. A good one, though, because that has the makings of a cult classic, and definitely a movie that can gain some legendary status, kind of like a Reservoir Dogs, kind of, if you will. So that was a great choice by Jewel, number 1. For me, again, Naked Jane Fonda, Barbarella, that's all you have to say. Who gives a shit what it's about? 1941 with John Belushi. That should be the name of the movie, Naked Jane Fonda. 1941 with John Belushi. De Niro's greatest Taxi Driver. Number 2, Blade Runner with Mr. Harrison Ford. And number 1, of course, The Princess Bride. It's inconceivable. I keep using that word. I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean what I think it means.
Marriage.
Marriage is what brings us here today. Yeah, awesome. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. Great topic, Joel. Outstanding. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I thought you were going to say The Goonies.
No, The Goonies to me isn't really a cult classic. It's very popular, overly popular. Like I was thinking Sandlot, but again, overly. I don't want to go with something that's overly popular. Sandlot's one of the greatest movies. But I didn't want to go with something really obvious. I wanted to go with movies that are a little more off the cuff, a little more offbeat. And when I start seeing some of these on the list, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And that's what we did. It came out great.
You know what, too, that almost made my list? It was Natural Born Killers in California with Brad Pitt. I love that movie. I have to watch it anytime it's on.
That's an interesting movie. I've seen that. I've seen them both. Natural Born Killers, I don't know, didn't really do it for me. But kind of weird.
I love Crazy Woody Harrelson.
Everybody loves Crazy Woody Harrelson. The chick in that movie, like I said, my memory starts. Juliette Lewis. For a long time, I used to hear rumors how she was like the greatest lay in Hollywood. I don't know. Like she was the best in bed in all of Hollywood.
Well, she got Brad Pitt. Hello.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on there. It's got to be good somehow.
I always think of her in the scene in Old School. And she's like, what? I tried to tell you, and like that and stuff. Like, she's so dumb in that movie. Oh,
yes.
God. It's funny.
Quite the actress. Apparently she rocks it in the sack, too, so go get her.
She's a good singer, though. She does have a good voice.
Yeah, I like artists like that venture out, like Hal. And speaking of artists and actors that are great singers, let's get to some Hal Sparks. How about it? 01 is the name of Hal's band. Jules freaking out, and he's not even here yet. 01 is the name of Hal's band, and we have a track for you from 01. It's called Strange, and as soon as you start hearing the lyrics, you'll know what it's about, fellas. It's about getting yourself a little strange. Hal Sparks, the band again is 01. This is a track called Strange. It's a little over 3 minutes. We're popping on now. Come back to a little talk, and we'll have Hal on soon. So settle back, get a beer, take a piss, whatever it is you do. We'll be back in a little over 3 minutes. Hal Sparks. 01 is the band. Hal Sparks is the lead singer. Just looking for some strange. Get dressed up, ladies, and get out. Check out 01 because they're looking for some strange. How about that range? How about Hal Sparks? Killing it. The band was originally called the Hal Sparks Band, but they decided to go with the band, the name 01. They've actually changed members. They're got a new album coming out and some new tunes. So that's exciting stuff to look forward to. Jules amped here, like a giddy little schoolgirl. It's adorable. You got to see. Her smile was like real big. Her cheeks are getting like a little bit red.
Oh, shush.
She won't even look at me in the face. It's adorable.
Stop. No, I've just been a fan of Hal Sparks and his band since high school. So it's nuts. And I'm really excited. They put out great music, and I'm just super pumped.
Really, I mean, when you go down a list of things he's done, it doesn't seem like he does anything wrong, does it? Like all his stuff is just
and he could do it all, like everything.
Yeah, apparently, and it's great. I'm a little jealous because he's great. Comedian. Kind of reminds me of I am. Reminds me a little bit of you dwell through past guests when we had Sean Kanan on. Kind of like Sean. Sean was a cook, an author, an actor, karate, and he was doing all this stuff and doing it all well. And he was in comedy also. And that's kind of the way Hal is. So I guess when you're talented and you got it like that, you really spread it out, and it's great. And we love it. His music.
Yep.
He'll be on shortly to talk to us. Probably make us look silly as how funny and excellent he's going to be. He also does radio shows. So we're going to ask him for a little advice.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure if Jewel had her way, pretty sure if Jewel had her way, it's going to be the Stoop starring Hal Sparks and Joel Tatey on the outside looking at it.
No, I love our Stoop.
I do love our Stoop. It is our little Stoop. And we come to you every Monday and Wednesday night with great topics and great music and great guests and means Joel. It's awesome stuff. Real quick, before Hal comes on the show, we're going to talk about the great upset that happened. Sexiest Man Alive contest. It was voted. This year's Blake Shelton. Blake Shelton is the sexiest man alive.
Breaking news.
Beating out Jeff Perini by a hair.
Wow.
So close. If you look up the upcoming magazine, it was they show me on the stoop with my headset on, and they said number 2, and making his way to the top. But no, Blake Shelton, this year's sexiest man alive. A little bit of that race. Not a lot of people were with it.
No.
Jewel had mentioned a couple names: Idris Elba, Jason Momoa, and men that some people thought that should have been voted. 41-year-old country music star had his own thoughts on his new title. Jewel's like waving things at me there. The voice coach took to Twitter on Tuesday night, writing, "Thank you at People Magazine. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." How can you? If I hated everybody that was beautiful, I would start by not looking in the mirror. I would hate myself.
Oh my God.
Congratulations, Blake Shelton.
He's
singer,
like, I don't
TV
know.
guy.
He's like down-home country boy, but seriously, they needed a little variety. Like, I really thought it was going to be Jason Momoa. And he just got married, and he's Aquaman, and he's enormous. Like, he is a force to be reckoned with. Like, I just saw it was his year, and, he's been acting for a long time. I actually used to watch old Stargates with Mike, and I recognized him from there. So he's been doing it for a really long time, and I thought he deserved it. And he just married Lisa Bonet after 12 years. So they're very happy. They're like the cutest couple. They're really in love.
Cute.
So.
But it's funny you say that because, like, you see the preview for Justice League, and I just look at him, and I'm like, is that guy like a computer superimposed image? That can't be a real person. He's got like an all. He's got the body, the hair, the face. He's got this awesome beard. It's a badass looking dude. Definitely could have been a guy.
Yeah, and in Game of Thrones, like, he's the Dothraki king, and he's a monster. Like, he's huge. So, I don't know. I just thought it was his year. But, wait, what did this one girl say? I have to read it. She said, I have had my fridge cuter than Blake Shelton. Wait, there was another. Oh, God, it was funny. I'll find it somewhere. But, yeah, they were person on poor Shelton, left and right.
Shelton. Blake Shelton. I had a hard time getting it out, too.
Shelton.
When you look at the list of some past winners, it might be a little off the cuff, though. Chris Hemsworth, Adam Levine, Channing Tatum, Bradley Cooper. No, I mean Blake is a little off the cuff, a little different than what we're used to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Channing Tatum, Bradley Cooper, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Matt Damon, Matthew McConaughey, Jude Law, Denzel Washington. A different breed of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Blake Shelton, I guess he's...
I met one of the sexiest men alive. I met Bradley Cooper on 94.1 back in my internship days.
Very awesome.
I didn't get a picture. I was so upset I didn't get a picture, but his manager was very pushy, so I missed my shot.
That stuff happens. The managers, definitely take over and don't want these people really to be human. I saw Bradley Cooper eating breakfast outdoors at the West Avenue Grill. I sat right next to him. And, yeah, pretty awesome. The one in Jenkintown, that was his hometown. Sat next to him, and he was with, you know what, tonight, with me, I'm forgetting names. I don't know. He's with
what? Not Jennifer Lawrence, right?
No, the former girlfriend, the one from a while back. The little blonde, stringy thing. Bridget Jones' Diary. I forget her name.
Oh, Renee Zellweger?
Was that, yeah, that was it. Yeah. Oh, she's awful.
She's awful.
Oh, very unpleasant. Very unpleasant.
She's stringy. I thought she was plump, and then
one of the
she was unpleasant.
Yeah, one of the waitresses asked for her for a picture, and she said, "I don't think so." So if I give a picture to you, my picture will be up at every laundromat in this town. I'm not having it. And I'm like, wow.
No way.
Yes way. I was shocked.
Wow. I hate it when you find out that celebrities are jerks.
I know, right? Bradley Cooper came up and asked for my autograph. I was really embarrassed.
Oh, wow.
He's like,
I rode in an elevator with him.
Yeah? He's like, aren't you the sexiest man alive? I'm like, not close. He's like, aren't you on the stoop? I'm like, absolutely. No, it didn't happen. None of that happened. That was actually before my stoop days. It was a couple years back. West Avenue Grill. Bradley Cooper. He's a Philly guy. Maybe we'll come on the stoop. It's all about Philly. That's what we do here.
Isn't he Upper Darby?
Who, Bradley Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
No, Jenkintown.
Oh, Jamie Kennedy's Upper Darby.
Jamie Kennedy and Sherry O'Teary, formerly of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah, I love her.
She's up, so, yeah, she was kind of cute. She was she's in that category. If you got a couple of beers in it, you'd be like, what the hell?
Oh, my God. Ruthless tonight. Ruthless
tonight. I got to get my digs and my zings on my funny shit out before Hal comes on. That embarrasses me. So I got to get the best of my funny out before he comes on the interview, and I'm like, so Hal, you're funny. He's gonna make me look like an ass. So get it out now. Should be coming up. Any moment around the 8:30 time frame, maybe a little later. It is going to be Hal Sparks, lead singer of 01, host of Talk Soup, actor of so many great television shows.
Michael Novotny.
Michael Novotny. Zoltan, of course, from Dude Where's My Phone. Zoltan.
You didn't do Zoltan? Okay.
I did Zoltan, yeah. I've been doing this all day trying to get it right.
I know.
Saw the movie a bunch of times, still can't do the Zoltan.
Yeah. I do it real fast. Woo. Okay.
They're very
Party people. I need sound effects.
We do. We do need sound effects. I've been working on sound effects. I mean, the audio playback for our little impromptu studio is a little shaky. Even listen to the song tonight, a little off. We hate that. The lead song was a little off tonight, but we make do with what we have. The millions of dollars we earn on this show, we basically stash in a sack. We're not spending any of it. We're just earning.
Yeah.
Pockets full of cash. Yeah. Pockets full of cash. And we're okay with that.
It's fine.
I'm sitting here and I'm saying pockets full of cash from the millions I make. Meanwhile, Jewel only makes like $100 a week. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry. It's a budget.
It's okay. So I had to pick up a couple of side jobs.
Yeah, exactly. The network won't let me pay her anymore. And that we'll contract negotiate. We'll see what we can do.
Suckers.
Suckers. Folks, let's get ready. Here we are, the moment we have all waited for. Ultra super excited. Can't wait to get to this gentleman, the amazing and ultra talented Mr. Hal Sparks. Hal, good evening and welcome to the Stoop.
Thanks. It's nice to be here. Well, in digitally speaking. How are you?
Yes. Hi, Hal.
Great.
How are you?
I'm great.
We're nervous.
Hal, I'm gonna get right to it before we start. Before we get with anything, I'm going to come right out and tell you that Jewel is a massive fan, and she's very nervous and has been counting down the days to have you on here. We're super excited. So let's thank you, first of all, for coming on. And
of course.
And join us here on.
And I think that shows
great.
taste and breeding on her part, by the way.
But
yes.
Absolutely. I told her she got great taste. So Jewel, I'll let you get started. Ask away. Let's get started with Hal, Jewel, whatever you want to get off your chest.
Yeah.
Yes.
No pressure.
Yeah, so,
go right ahead.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. We're just gonna dive right in. You do so many things. You're an excellent actor, comedian. Mm-hmm. You delve into pretty much everything. You have a successful podcast. You're doing your comedy tour. Like, how did you get started with the whole entertainment field? We heard you started off at Second City, and when did you decide to move to LA and really go for it?
Yeah, I was already working professionally when I was living in Chicago. I moved from Kentucky to Chicago when I was 14. Basically, that's when I discovered that stand-up was a job and not just magic. At that point, I thought all theatrical events were magic. Like, nobody hired people to do that stuff. Nobody had that as a job. It was just something somebody spotted you and said, hey, you should be in movies, that kind of story. But I didn't really get the idea that there was a ladder at all, that there was any climbing to it, that it was just kind of, it happened or it didn't. You got discovered or you weren't. And when I got to Chicago, it was like, Chicago has a very kind of blue-collar, Midwestern view of what it takes to make it in the industry. You just start at the bottom and you get better all the time, and eventually people trust you with more and more important work, And once I saw that, I was like, oh, I could do that, Okay, what's stand-up? You write some jokes, you practice a little bit, and then you go do an open mic, and then after enough open mics, you could MC. Once you MC, you can feature, you can you get enough material, you can headline. Once you can headline, you can tour. That's it, right? That's the ladder. Okay. And so I just started at it when I was 15 years old, and then got my first professional acting job when I was 16, which was an after-school special, mainly because my dad, at that time I had an agent, and my agent had an office in LA. It was two women, and they were basically joined, but really separate offices. And my dad flew me out to LA for 10 days at one point because I'd won a comedy contest and done some other stuff and was doing well at school, but he was going to kind of scare it out of me. The idea was that he'll take me to LA, I'll go to a couple auditions, I won't get anything, I'll see how tough it is, and then I'll come back and get a construction job. And that was pretty much his plan. Oh. And it all fell apart because I auditioned for two things and got both of them, and had to choose between the two, and missed the first 2 weeks of my junior year of high school because of that, because I was filming. And so from that point on, it was like, okay, this is a job now. This is just work. And now it's a matter of how long it takes to get to a stable point where you get enough work where you can make a living and then build some sort of name for yourself. And that takes a while. So I figured I'd give myself a little bit of time, and see how it worked out. So I figured once I'm Hume Cronin's age, if it hadn't happened yet, I would stop. And so if I reached 72 and I hadn't booked anything, I figured, okay, maybe I should try another line of work. And so that was my plan. And then I graduated high school, packed all my stuff in my car, and drove to L.A.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
very
it.
Awesome.
Just get at it. You're not most things like that don't get any better by waiting for them unless you're building a skill. Unless you're like, I'm a fairly good actor, but I need 10 years in local theater to get my, to get to the point where I'm comfortable enough to feel like I could do it on a major scale. If that's what you need, then that's what you should do. But if you have the ability of getting at it right away, it's like, I want to be a steel worker, but I live in Indiana. It's not Like, you kind of need to move to Pittsburgh at some point, you know?
Yeah.
Is the theory.
That's awesome, and it was great because we, I remember myself watching you grow. I mean, I watched you in like the I Love the series on VH1. I love the '80s,
Sure.
I love the '90s, all that stuff. And you were great with your commentary, and I seen you do comedy stuff. And then you start landing stuff like Talk Soup. Kind of overwhelming how fast it grew for you. Were you just shocked that it came so quickly, or do you think in your mind it took a little more time than expected?
Well, it was quicker for other people. I mean, I called it the '90s the Sisyphus years. I didn't, I would work, but I never got any traction. Every time I'd roll the rock up the hill, it'd roll back down that very night. There was no growth in my career at any point, And then once I got Talk To, it kind of got a toehold, and that I knew was semi-permanent as long as I didn't screw up too bad. And I Love the '80s and '90s and all those things. That came about because at that point, I had done Talk Soup and I was doing Queer as Folk, and people were calling me either by my character name on Queer as Folk or were saying, hey, you're the Talk Soup guy. And so I decided at one point to take anything offered to me that would chyron my name under my face.
Yeah.
And so at that point, VH1 was doing this, they were talking about doing this 10-hour documentary on the 80s, which in the way they were pitching it was almost more like what CNN ultimately did. It was going to be more of a documentary. They were going to ask celebrities from that time, mix and mingle the stuff from then, and they didn't quite know where it was going to go. And I got invited down to do it and they were like, we were going to film, it'll take about an hour. You'll just sit in front of a green screen and we'll ask you a bunch of stuff. The first day I sat there for 8 hours, and then they brought me back the next day and I did another 8 hours. And I did the entire first I Love the '80s in 2 days, and just all improv, just whatever jokes came to me. And most people know I'm fantastic in 8-second increments. So and then that kind of I kind of left it at that, and then it became its own kind of sideline industry. It became a second series almost that was running, in between Queer as Folk and Lab Rats. Which is the Disney series, and so in many ways, like by the within 15 years, I'd had 3 successful series, but it was only after about 12 years of ice skating uphill, which is the natural part. It's the natural part of this industry, and it should be hard. It should take you time. It should be challenging. It should make you question your ability because the access you have to people's brains, there should be a vetting process. You know? And we see what happens, regarding, the Weinsteins and the Louis C.K.'s of the world, that if you don't have too much of a vetting process and you do get bumped to the front of the line fairly quickly, you don't get vetted, And it's a lot of responsibility, and unless you're willing to kind of take on a part of it or be completely vacant from the space, like I act and then I just go away, then you don't belong anywhere near it, I think.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, Hal, that's like the first thing I saw you on, and then after I saw you on, I Love the 90s, like you cracked me up. I swear to God, I had a VHS tape with you singing "Nothing Compares to You" as Sinead O'Connor. Like, oh my God, I had that, and I would watch it all the time and crack up. But then I looked up your music, and then I saw you were on Talk Soup because it was a little before my time of watching VH1. But you are beloved as Michael on Queer as Folk, and I was just curious as how you got that role, and were you nervous at all taking it? Because it was a huge dramatic role, and can you just tell us about?
The only I have to say the only hesitation I had at one point was there was a scene where in the first script, which was it was 2 episodes, it was kind of like a 2-hour premiere that they had originally written it out as, there was a crime scene, essentially. And I'd been doing, at that point, because I'd been doing Talk Soup, and I just shot You Where's My Car, and I'd been doing sketch comedy and stand-up for the last, 6 years, that I really hadn't done any dramatic work since 92, maybe. And so, you have a moment where you're like, am I a little rusty? You're like a gunslinger who has to, open the drawer and dust off his 6 guns. You're like, I hope this thing is oiled enough to shoot right. And so, but then it was interesting because but I took it on because I loved the script. And I thought it was all there. My reps were a little nervous because they thought it was going to ruin my career. And there's some argument, that they could make that it did as far as the trajectory they had planned for me after Talk Soup. But insofar as doing it, like it was going to be a huge challenge. Most people who come straight off of something like Talk Soup or Dude, Where's My Car end up doing a sitcom, and that's pretty much what you're relegated to. Nobody knows you can act until it's too late, and your career is kind of on a trajectory that will fizz out after a while, and you'll have to argue why you're a dramatic actor 10 years from now, Yeah. I got really lucky in that I fit the part of this character. It was kind of a perfect storm, and I felt like I could deliver. And then I literally think it was the second day we were shooting, I had this scene with Ted, the Ted character. Michael and Ted are talking in the club. Just kind of the opening of the show, and at one point, Scott, I know my character knows that Scott Lowell's character, who played Ted, is going to basically die that night. I know that we know the story, we know the script. The audience doesn't, and so it's not supposed to be a big emotional scene when he said goodbye and believe in yourself, kind of, to my character. But both of us knew what was coming for his character, so we started welling up on set while we're doing the scene, getting kind of emotional about it. And after that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not worried about it anymore. I stopped. I'm like, I'm having to hold back tears from scenes that don't even need it. So when it comes time to actually do the stuff that's required, I feel confident in my ability. And and it literally got to the point on Queer as Folk where they gave me a script once where it had a couple lines of dialogue, and all it said after that was, Michael breaks down quickly. That's it. And what they meant is just going from smiling to sobbing in one line. And and that is, that's not the biggest challenge acting-wise. It's very hard. It's not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is getting happy again and shooting without it looking like you've been crying all day.
Yeah.
So that, it was like doing, 60 indie films doing Queer as Folk because of how it was shot. So it was fantastic as an experience as an actor.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's good to see so much range, comedy, drama. One of your ranges that I love, and we played a song earlier tonight from your band 01. You got a great band here, too. You guys are awesome, kick-ass. How important is music to you? Is that something you want to get more into?
Yeah, I've been in bands since high school, and I've been playing guitar since I was 16. And in some ways, you're always, it's work convincing people that you can be a musician or a singer or have any worth if you come from the acting world. And, and it's less of an extent if you come from music first. If you're a musician first, people will let you act until you screw it up. And, if you're an actor and you decide to do music, you suck from day one. They can't hear the songs at all. So there's this preconceived notion that it's going to be terrible. I've been wanting to. My girlfriend's sneezing in the other room. Lately I've been thinking about doing like an EP. Since the I Love the 80s crowd is so beloved, of a bunch of like actor songs like Heartbeat by Don Johnson and like The Wind by Patrick Swayze and Jesse's Girl and and a Hasselhoff song or something like that. Just called an album of covers where I play all those songs. Just called How Dare They. I just want to call the album How Dare They. Like how
Party
dare
all the
they
time.
try to sing. Right, yeah.
Oh,
Party All the Time would be a great cover.
Oh.
Although Boogie in Your Butt, I think, is Eddie Murphy's classic of all time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that blows away.
If you haven't heard it, you have to. Yeah, you gotta listen to. Enough is Enough. His duet with Richard Simmons and Buckwheat is genius as well. But Boogie in Your Butt is, I'm saying, look it up.
Haven't heard it. I will.
You got to check it out.
It's genius.
It's great stuff. So speaking of music, two things I want to mention. First of all, you got credited for an appearance in a Steel Panther video, Party Like Tomorrow's the End of the World. Love those guys. How well do you know those guys?
I've known them since they were middle school.
Oh, wow.
My band 01's first gig ever was opening for Metal School at the Viper Room when I think when Ray Luzier, who's in Korn, was still the drummer.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was like 2001 maybe, and then they became they were Metal Shop, and then they became Metal School, and then they became Steel Panther. And over the years, I started hopping up on stage and singing with them. And initially, it was interesting because with my band, because I was singing untrained for a lot of years, and I would blow my voice out. We did a little Midwestern tour, and I ruined my voice quite thoroughly. At the end of the tour, I was literally like, not only may I might not be able to sing again, I might not be able to speak again after this is over. I may have, so it made me kind of go back to school and learn how to sing as a professional, because the only difference between a professional and a natural talent is a professional can do it again tomorrow. And that's the most important part of being a professional actor or a comedian or whatever. Is you have to be able to, anybody can do it once. You got to be able to do it 3 times, right? And so once I decided to get my voice in order, I would jump up on stage with those guys and end up singing Skid Row songs or Journey or whatever, and it kind of freaked people out that I could actually sing, and myself included. And so it was a real learning experience, getting up on stage and doing these songs. And I never knew which song I was going to sing. They kind of, pimp me with these songs and just throw me, to the dogs, as it were. And over time, I literally, it was kind of like stand-up, in that stand-up you can't practice anywhere else. You have to be on stage to do it. You cannot practice stand-up at home. And singing you can practice in a room with a coach forever before you ever sing, You can go, okay, the song is well sung and you sound fine, but you can't learn how to be a front man that way. You can't learn how to perform on stage. You have to be, So I started treating my jump-ups with Steel Panther like frontman school, because I wasn't, in my band I play guitar and sing. So every time I would go up there, I just sang. I didn't have a guitar on me, so I was like, okay, how do I start finding what my real artistry is as a frontman, as a performer, And that takes time, because you don't know who, everybody gets on stage, whether they think that they like it or not, they're an egg. And after a while they hatch, and after they hatch, they grow, and then they become a productive animal of some sort. And it's you don't have, you're not in control of that time schedule. You don't know when that is. You could magically trip over it and go, wow, you're Alanis Morissette and you're 17 years old and that's your performance, or you're Fiona Apple or something like that, where you just, doesn't matter how old you are, you're that age forever. And then there are other people who are like, yes, I didn't like their early stand-up or their early acting, but it's like J.K. Simmons. I don't know how many people know they saw him years and years and years ago. It's just now that he's kind of made his way into his own space. Anthony Hopkins barely worked till he was 65. So, right. So and that's tremendously reassuring too. So anyway, not to turn into a philosophical discussion on being David Lee Roth, but the idea of getting up with Steel Panther and performing is one of those situations, because they're making fun of you the whole time you're up there. You can really be mocked hard. It's the white Apollo in some ways when you're performing up there, because even though they're nicer about it, a lot of people want you to fail.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I loved your music back in those days, though. Like She Waits and Satellites were my 2 favorite, and I saw that
thanks.
I loved them, and I saw that She Waits was on the newest album with Strange. Are you thinking about doing Satellites over again?
We might. I think we don't really do that as much live as I used to do it with the old lineup in the band. And it's one of the ones I'm working back in. We're now doing She Waits live, which we never did in the original iteration of the band. But now that we have like a 4-piece and everybody in the band right now can sing really well, that allows us to do the full harmonies and stuff. And so that was kind of what was waiting. And quite frankly, it was, for whatever reason, I had an emotional block on that particular song, that it's, that singing it was so much work. And now, I always think that the rule is, if the song is an 8, you have to be you have to be able to sing at a 9 all the time. Once
Yeah.
you can sing at a 9 all the time, you don't worry about an 8 anymore. And you can just sing it with real passion, real delivery, real personality, real genuineness. If you sing at a 7.5 most of the time, 8 is very scary. And even if you manage to pull it off, it'll never be the song that it should be. So
Yes,
it took me a while, because I love the song so much, it took me a while to feel like, okay, I sing at a 9 most of the time now. And it's an 8. So I really feel like we can do it justice. And so we've been working on it for a while. We've done it live twice now, and I'm a big fan of doing it live.
Yeah, I love that song, and
Awesome
it sounds tough to sing,
Mm-hmm.
so I applaud you.
Well, it was it was interesting. It was at the top of my range when I started. Now it's not. And
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, most people, the dirty secret about the industry is that as far as rock goes, is that most guys down tune half a step live. They make it easier on themselves. Well, some songs sometimes that makes it worse. Sometimes it lowers your vocal cords and they kind of relax a little bit, and so the air can damage them. And over time, even though it's easier in the beginning, after you've done it a few times, your voice is gone. You wear it out. And that's why, like, if you notice, like, Paul Stanley's voice was killing it until they got to the reunion and they started singing the old songs more, which were in a lower key, and that's way harder on it. And then they would down tune to do it, and then that damages your voice even more. And so when we do She Waits live, a lot of the other songs are written down tuned half step, but She Waits is written in standard, which is, regular, E on the guitar. And so we switch guitars for that, and I sing it in its original key, because if I go down a half a step, it might be easier for a little while, but after a while, I won't be able to sing at that level. So you just it's kind of like going to the gym. At a certain point, you can't get around the fact that you got to lift something heavy for you to be able to, use it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I had to get this shout out. We're